Hey everyone, this is the Spiritual AF Podcast, and I'm your host, Judd Fink. On this podcast, you'll hear about my personal journey that led me on the path to spiritual growth, the journey of my guests, and the wisdom that we've gained along the way. It's important to me to put this podcast out in hopes that the stories contained in it resonate with the listener and assist people on their own path to healing and growth. I am deeply thankful to even have the opportunity to do this. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, guys. So let's go. And thank you so much for listening. Hey, everyone. This is the Spiritual AF Podcast, and I am Judd Fink. Today, I'm here with my friend, Audrey Holiday. She is a Reiki master, Reflexology master, and does emotional coding as well. Do you want to explain what emotional coding is?
So emotional coding is removing trapped emotions from the subconscious. So let's say that you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off and you get really upset about it. And instead of like processing that anger right away, you just kind of file it away for later. Sometimes that can manifest in different ways in the body later. And so with emotional coding, then we actually unlock that from the subconscious mind and just get rid of it. So there's not like a long drawn out like cognitive process. It's literally just muscle testing and then removing it from your body.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, everything is energy. It can get trapped and show up, and as we know,
gotta let that shit go.
Yes, let that shit go. Exactly. So reflexology, explain.
That's working the meridians in the hands and feet, and it just helps bring homeostasis to your body. So like it can help with back pain, it can help with anxiety, it can help with pretty much any ailment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And Reiki, I'm pretty sure if anyone's listening to this
has an idea
of what exactly that is.
Yep.
So overall, like how would you define spirituality for you?
I don't know. I guess it's kind of been a process. So like growing up, my family was super Christian. And then throughout, like I've kind of just, I guess, developed my own sense of what it is that I believe. So I don't necessarily see that there's one spiritual path, but they kind of all just kind of mesh together.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't care what anyone believes in. It's just the energy.
Yep.
It's what it is.
Love is love.
Yes, exactly. So as far as like, many people who are spiritual have gifts or knowings or whatever,
Odd talents.
Exactly. So you want to talk about any of that? Like what your experiences?
Yeah. So I like growing up, when I was little, then I was always super sensitive. And so like with my, my parents would say, oh, she's just like a worrier or a worrywart, right? Especially my grandma, she liked to say that a lot. But it was just things that I knew or feelings that I had, which now looking back, was probably something more than what they were leading, what we knew, I guess,
Sure.
And so it wasn't even though until just a couple of years ago that it really started to like strengthen and develop. So I have a friend that lives out in Pennsylvania, and when we started talking, like we never met in person, but when we started talking, then we kind of delved into like the spiritual side of things, right? And so it was like it was so weird. Like one of the things that we did was one day was just like, hey, your colors today are red jasper and green. But I was like, it's not like a malachite green. It's moldavite, which is like a very deep, dark, earthy, green, like camouflage tone. Yeah. Right. So he goes, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
And he took a picture of his clothes and he was literally wearing like a red jasper colored shirt with Mickey Mouse on it, but regardless, right? And then camo pants. And I was like, what? And so then I started kind of playing around with that energy a little bit more. And I've always been super sensitive, like to picking up on what people are feeling, or like my mom has blood sugar issues. And so I would feel if she was having a low and I would be experiencing her symptoms. So like kind of, identifying that and figuring all of that out. But
oh yeah, for sure. Like that's really cool stuff.
Yeah. And now I feel like I've taken it from like seeing what people are wearing and what room they're in to more of like, their aura or their colors in different ways. So.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
For
all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
For each other. Like, hey, you want to check me? Or
right.
whatever, Like, what's wrong?
Are you crying right now? Why are you so sad?
Yeah, right. But so beyond that, like as far as energies, feeling negative things around you, and all that. Like, well, we had an experience not so long ago.
Yeah.
That involved several people.
Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And this incredibly dark energy. So you want to start that story?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I work in a chiropractic office, and there was a guy that came in saying that he felt like he had a parasite. And I don't know, I just felt led to ask him if it would be okay if I did like a distance Reiki session with him. And so I did, and I was like, man, this thing that I'm seeing is not a parasite, because I've seen them before in people, right?
Sure.
Or like been able to help with a cold if it's like an attachment energy or, different things like that.
Sure.
But this was like a big figure that was standing behind me even, and standing like looming over him. And this large like tar-like tentacle was stuck through him and was like broken off inside. And that's what the actual parasite was this like tentacle off of a tentacle, I guess, off of this monster or being, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, this is going to be more of like an in-person thing. And so he came to the office. Usually I work out of my home, but for this I was like,
no, thank
not
you.
a home thing.
Yeah. Yes.
So we did it out of the office, and like it was super intense. The entire room was dark. It was like absolutely frigid, and I got some of it out but not all of it. And from there until I don't know how long it was, like 2 weeks after that I contacted you maybe. But I didn't get it all. And from that point on, like I was super nauseous. I couldn't sleep. I was having nightmares, like sleep paralysis, all sorts of and I was like, okay, well, I'm obviously going through a hard time, or I'm stressed, like single mom stuff, whatever, like any excuse that I could come up with. And then I told the doctor that I work for about it, and she was like, we need 3 people. And I was like, well, the obvious person, Judd Fink, like that's who we need to have right now. So that's when I reached out to you, and you were like, yeah, sounds good, like I'll be there. Yeah. So
and then it ended up being a
whole ordeal.
Yeah because that thing broke off and affected all of us.
Yeah.
So when I got there, you can tell, and the thing was like him, his symptoms of depression, and not just, having a parasite.
Yeah, he had super dark thoughts.
All this stuff. And then he's like mentally strong, like one of the most fit people, and and all this stuff. And it's just like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. But you could feel that,
Well, and he's done every protocol. Like he's on super strict diet, and doing like parasite cleanses, and for months. Like it's not something that he was just like, well, I have an issue, fix it.
Yes. And you can't just remove that stuff on your own.
No.
Like you definitely need assistance, like we ended up getting to remove it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when I got there, I was perform Reiki on him, essentially just get this thing out of him.
We thought.
Yes, exactly. So I thought, right? And so I started. You were at his feet. Your boss was at his head, and I was at his stomach, or where the energy took me to his parasite. And I'm calling in the light. Getting in. There was no light.
No.
It was just complete darkness and pitch black. And then, I started shaking, getting nauseous.
You had to step out for a second.
I had to step out for a second, and then I came back. Well, that was like when I started, 5 seconds into it, I could feel that energy going up my hands.
Oh, yeah.
Like reverse water, like reverse water flow. Like it was ice cold, too. And
it's so dense.
Yes.
Like super dense.
Yes. Heavy, very heavy. Yeah. And, going up my hands over my shoulder, all the way up my arms to my back, over my head. And it was just like, I had to, like you said, I had to step away.
Yeah.
And then I stepped away for like maybe 20 seconds. And I was like, okay, it's not done. Like, I know, I know there's still more.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like, I know there's still more to get.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's whatever it is already on me. So whatever, like not knowing what this thing actually was though. But I know that I got in that moment, the majority of
Absolutely.
it,
Yeah.
and then, going outside, like wanting to throw up immediately, like the whole time, and then going outside and trying to send it into the ground and, ground myself and nothing is happening. Like nothing is working.
No.
Well,
and I thought the cool part though, like it was hard to see you go through like what you were going through, obviously. And then at the same time, it was cool to see the guy that we had all been working on. He was like standing over on the other side of the field, yard, whatever, like area.
Uh-huh.
He was standing over there like testing out his new body, it looked like. He was like, wow, like I haven't been able to do this. And he's like squatting down,
and he was doing stuff.
Yeah. And he's like, I haven't been able to do this in months. Like, no, I literally feel like better.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. That was the point.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So thankfully that happened. And then like I can feel this thing like just on me.
Yeah.
In me. And when I would try to push it into the ground, energetically with my hands downward, if I'm on the front, it would go to the back. If I move to the back, it goes to the front.
Right.
It's like
it was a game.
It was a big game. And then going back home, because I left like 20 minutes after that or something, 30 minutes after that.
I don't even think you were here for an hour or there for an hour.
Yeah. Probably not. And but then on the ride back home, I can just feel on like in the middle of my back, over my shoulders, like essentially like a V going down my, it's just this heaviness and all this weight on my back and behind me and sitting against my car seat, like my driver's seat of my car. Like I can feel all this. So, and that night I got home and I got my dog, Steve Johnson, and I go to bed and he sleeps under my covers and everything. And that night I started to dream very quickly, like vivid, immediately. And I remember I put my phone down around 10:10, and when I woke up, it was 10:38. But in the meantime,
in those 28
minutes, I was being robbed by a man and a woman, and I couldn't do anything. Like I could not move. I could say stuff in that moment, but I couldn't move or do anything. And then I was watching them just take my stuff out of my home,
Yeah.
And then it was like a movie scene where you're like being like they are staying in the same place, but you're being like pulled away.
Yeah.
Like, from everything. But I could feel my body moving. And
like in real life.
Like in
not
real
just
life.
In the dream.
Yes, not just in the dream. And so I turned my head to the left and I'm yelling at myself to wake up. Like wake up
That's
right
so
now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I turned my head to the left though, and it's this fucking evil face with like this long neck, and it's like a liquid form, but it's solid. It's like tar. Yeah. And it's like a skull, but it's not a skull. I can't even describe, like, evil, right?
Yeah.
And in that moment, I woke up, and I'm in the middle of my bed.
Not where you started.
Not where I started.
Yeah.
No. And it's a king-size bed. I sleep on one side. I'm a very sound sleeper.
Yeah.
And and then my dog, too, looking for my dog, can't find him. He's under the bed.
Oh, my God.
And, like, so, yeah.
Well, what I found really interesting about the whole experience, too, is that, like, we weren't talking to each other. Not that we were avoiding each other, just, like, we did our thing and went our separate ways. And it's like we weren't saying, hey, how are you doing? Or what's going on? Like, everybody was pretty much focused on, like, the guy, right? And
Yeah,
so we're like, hey, how are you doing? Do you feel like the parasite is gone? Like, is everything all right? How is your mental process? You know, while all of us are like going through all of these same but slightly different experiences.
Yeah.
And we were all seeing the same thing, which is what made it like so very real and tangible for me, because I'm a skeptic. Like, even though I know this stuff, like I
Yeah.
know that it works and I know that it is what it is, like I'm still skeptical that we're going through the experience that we're going through, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going, okay, well, we have, like, you're saying that it's a tar-like creature and I saw a tar-like creature, and it's not, hey, Judd, did it look tar-like to you? You know what I mean? Like, you're like,
Yeah.
we all conjoined with one person, and we're telling our separate experiences, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to her, to
Tanis.
Tanis. Yeah. And it's like, we're all experiencing the same thing. And like, I'm having goosebumps on my
I
legs,
know.
but
Yeah.
we're all experiencing the same stuff. And I even have a friend outside of all of this, well, you know Jody,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Jody Parker, right? So outside of all of this, who she has seen the thing and explained it. She wrote a post on it about it on Facebook, and talked about how it's tar-like and looks like the creature Venom, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm
Spider-Man,
unaware,
Venom.
right? Yeah. But I like, and then you know that I had a friend who drew a picture of it. And so it's like there's all of these people that are coming together and they're like, okay, so there's this thing. And we're all like, nope, very real experience, like super tangible, you know?
Oh, yeah. And then the nightmare, thankfully, I only had the nightmares for 2 nights because I ended up talking to my teacher, Gary, who did introduce us to Tanis.
Yeah. Thank God. Wow.
But then, like, and this is how much it matters, like, what you actually believe.
Yeah.
Like, what your beliefs are. And because, you know, they told me, you know, no drinking, no drugs. And I'm like, okay,
Fine.
no big deal.
Yeah.
Like,
highest integrity.
yeah, highest
across
integrity.
the board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then, like, oh, yeah, getting that before you guys got involved. Like, I'm talking to Gary, you know, because it was only 2 days. And I got a hold of Tanis individually at first.
Right.
And I'm in my sanctuary room, and she's working on me, like, gets it off of me, right? Very cool. And I can energetically feel all this, like, the weight being lifted and like the hooks coming out of me, and her doing surgery and pulling out all my old shit too.
Yeah.
Like, from my past and
Extra stuff.
Yeah, that remained there when I wasn't so great of a person, but I needed to do all that shit to be who I am now. So, but anyways, yeah, during that removal of that thing, she started working on my stomach and pulling everything out, and I started throwing up blood. And
I don't even think I heard that part.
Yeah.
Blood.
Yep.
Whoa.
And I didn't even I'm not expecting to, like, vomit.
Yeah.
Because this is happening over Zoom.
Right.
And didn't even have a garbage can or anything, so I'm just throwing up blood on my rug.
Oh, no.
Like,
oh, no.
You know? And it's just like, I don't care. Like, get this, you know.
Yeah, I need it gone.
Get this out. And then, like, all that happened. I found out some more things about myself that were pretty cool in that moment, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it came back because, like, because what you think about is what you give energy to.
Right.
Because your thoughts are energy.
It's a super weird experience. How can you not think about it? Like,
oh my gosh.
How do you turn that off?
And it was like energetically around, just waiting.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for something, for an opening. But like I said, once you're thinking about it, you know, and you can feel it around, like, just,
oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Not that it's attached to me or anything at the time, but like I explained to you, a few nights later, where I was asleep and I woke up out of a dead sleep and it's coming right back up my hands,
right,
and doing the exact same thing, and I'm just like, shit,
yeah,
you know, again,
yeah,
and then a couple more days went by, I want to say, and then we all got involved, like, had the big Zoom call.
Yeah, well, and you had reached out to me and you were like, hey, how are you feeling? And I was like, I haven't slept in a few days and I'm nauseous. And you were like, okay, but how does your back feel? And I was like, man, I tell you what, like my upper thoracics have been sore for a while. And you're like, nope, no good, no good. Reach out to this woman right now, like text her right now.
Yep.
And I had been sitting in my room, like literally, I can't even call it a panic attack. Like my body was literally just shaking. Like,
Oh yeah.
And so then you said that, and I reached out to Tanis, and it's like it had gripped me so much with fear that like I could hardly even send her the text message for like, Judd told me to ask you for help. Like, and so she's like, I'm going to call you in 15 minutes. And I sat there and literally shook the entire time. And I was like, okay, I'm okay. Like, I'm safe, you know, going through like affirmations of it's going to be all right. Like, we're all in this together. And you were talking to me like until she called. And, but yeah, that was, so I worked with her a couple of times. Until it was like everybody was trying to work with her individually. And I think that the guy had also reached out to her.
Yes.
Yeah. And until she was like, you guys were all like, okay, we need to all meet together. And I remember it was Halloween because it was a Tuesday, which is our like family night, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm taking my kids trick-or-treating, and then we have family night, so we're gonna like play games and stuff. And I don't even remember who it was, but somebody messaged me and was like, Audrey, it's tonight at 7. Like, you have to be there tonight at 7. And I was like, shit. Okay. All right. We're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that whole experience was really cool. Though,
Very.
too. We found out a lot.
Yeah.
more.
Like past live stuff.
Yeah.
And different connections with each other and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. That was neat.
It was very cool. Long story short, she got that removed, and it hasn't been back
No.
ever since.
No.
But it definitely waits.
It does. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it opened our eyes, and it kind of like drew us all together even more, I think. And for me, it kind of catapulted me even deeper into, because I felt like there for a minute, like in that waiting period where nobody was really like interacting with each other, except, I mean, the doctor and I obviously on a daily basis because we work together. You know, I work for her. But I felt like in that moment, you know, I was really given this opportunity to go back. Like, hey, if you don't want to be on this spiritual path, if you don't want to like be awake anymore, you can go back to sleep now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I considered it. Like, it was so dark and so heavy and so scary, and like the most profound loneliness and just horror I think that I've ever felt, you know, in a single situation. And but no, instead I was like, nope, I'm gonna go fight this thing with my friends now. Like,
Man, and that
I'm so glad I did.
How many different in that experience too, in this, I don't even know if it was I don't know how to describe it other than like a meditative state.
Yeah.
Right? And how many different forms of that thing showed up? Because,
oh my God,
because
so
what came
many.
back on me, because she got rid of the main one.
Yeah.
Like the first time off of me.
Yeah.
Like
the thing that you had initially pulled out of him that attached to you.
Yes.
Yeah. Got rid of that.
Yeah. Got rid of that one. And then like, I guess it's lesser forms of it, less powerful forms of it is what came.
And it was literally playing games. Like, it would get off of me and then go to you and then get off of you and go to him. And then like just bouncing around. Like it was literally a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also us not being able to say things.
Yeah.
As well.
Or like, meditate or sleep.
Sleep.
Yeah. The sleep thing.
I couldn't even function.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't even realize that I didn't eat for 2 days.
Right.
I had no thought of it.
Yeah.
It was just,
and I know every time that you asked me, you were like, hey, Audrey, how are you doing? And I'm like, not so good. And you were like, please, for the love of God, please sleep. Like, you need sleep so bad.
Yes. Like, use drugs.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Right. But yeah, that was in that, like, fighting this thing off, though, things at that point, that was really cool. How we figured out, like, exactly how to do it, and, you know, directed by Tanis, of course.
Yeah, huge learning experience.
Yeah.
And when in doubt, like, always seek help. Like, if it seems bigger than you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, definitely.
And I learned a lot not to just rush in.
Yeah.
And do this shit.
Yeah.
Because, like, of course I want to help people.
Of course.
And stuff.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. And I didn't do my homework, basically. I didn't, like, tune in energetically. I've never encountered anything like that before.
Me either.
So now I know, like, take a step back and
Deep breath first.
and figure it out. But even feeling the energy off of him when I came there in the first place,
Yeah.
like I recognized that it was not good,
Right.
you know, but I still was like, I've experienced worse,
Right.
you know, but that's like,
what did we do? Like exercise Shemaine's building, like
oh yeah, yeah.
got rid of the whatever that was.
Oh, before that,
Yeah.
the doctor,
Yeah. The
that was
doctor
there?
that was looming around,
Yep,
throwing shit.
yep, yep. The former owner,
Who got this?
yep,
We
exactly.
Did not have
We did
this.
not have this, no,
No.
but we did learn, so
Yeah.
that was the main thing.
Yeah.
And
Lots of lessons.
yeah, it made it. I can see down the road me actually doing that, like
Yeah.
what Tanis does.
Absolutely.
You know,
Probably not me, but I'll support you.
yeah, yeah. Like, I think it's just that mindset of like, I got this,
Yeah.
you know, which can be not good, but
And some are but meh.
you know, I've been through a lot. Like, I got it, you know.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like that was a crazy ass story.
Yeah.
But never again.
Yeah. I'm probably set on that experience now. Probably
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So like, what are some experiences that you've had like with, besides that instance, clients like that were, you know, struggling with whatever, and then like the positive outcome?
Yeah, there are a couple that I can think of. There was actually a lady that came into the office who said that she didn't have parasitic like issues, but she hadn't been sleeping and she had been in a really dark place and like nightmares when she did sleep and just generalized anxiety type stuff. And so one of the patients that actually sees the doctor is her friend. And so she had come to town and brought her into the office and was like, "Oh, hey, this girl can do some energy work on you, you know?" And so I actually did it over my lunch break one day and like started working on her, and it was another super dark, super intense thing, and I actually felt this thing grabbed my ankles at one point, and so, you know, I shook it off and sent that part to the light, and then was pulling more stuff out of her, and it actually, like, I could feel it coming up, and it grabbed me right around the neck, and like I couldn't talk, I couldn't breathe, and I was like, I just said, "Okay, I'll be right back," and I just ran out of the room, and I told the doctor, "Hey, like, this is what's going on," and she did some acupuncture super quick, and then I took in way more stones, and she had like way more gems, and she had some holy water, and like, so then I went back in, and the woman ended up, like, she was able to sleep after that. She wasn't having nightmares, and I mean, basically everything that she had come in complaining about, she didn't experience again. So that was pretty cool. And I heard from her like 2 weeks after the session, I guess.
Yeah.
2 weeks after, and then 3 months after, and just, you know, as like a follow-up type deal. And so as far as I know, she's still doing all right. So, but those were really the only two that were, you know, really extreme.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So also, like, them coming to you or me or whomever, you know, for energy work and healing, or in whatever way that they are seeking it, especially with your reflexology and emotional code.
Yeah.
Like, a main part of that is like dealing with past trauma, or it brings up past trauma.
Absolutely.
You know, and just identifies what needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
And there's different ways to deal with that, obviously, like acceptance or going on your journey, or, you know.
I think the biggest portion of it, though, is finding a way to let go.
Yes.
You know, because we, for whatever reason, want to hold on to that trauma and want to hold on to that hurt, which is why working with the subconscious is so important.
Absolutely.
You know.
Oh yeah.
And reflexology, just like helping your body heal, you know, all of the various systems that you have, like on a physical level. And I know, like, we just actually found out, yesterday or 2 days ago, that we're taking a very similar class in like releasing trauma from the body and other modalities. So
yes. Yeah. Mine's just the shamanic viewpoint of it.
And mine's somatic exercises, so just small micro movements to release the emotions that we store in like our hips or neck or shoulders or wherever your tension is stored. So
Yep. And mine would be a from the shamanic standpoint, it's explained as a soul loss. Part of your soul leaves.
Yeah.
And then it's a soul retrieval after that, which when it's ready to come back after you've done whatever part of your healing,
that needs to happen.
that needs done. So that's why, like, it's the point of it is like through my coaching, like to get them on the path to, healing that and dealing with the trauma so that the parts of the soul can come back and they can be whole. And
it's like making room for the puzzle piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like a part of the aura is scooped out.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That'll be super fascinating.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I'm already doing some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So yay for that.
Yes, yay for that. More modalities to help more people.
Yeah, exactly. It's all super cool stuff, and like this also goes back to like what your belief is. We mentioned different modalities. It doesn't matter what you actually believe in.
Yeah.
It's the same. As long as the result is the same, that's what matters.
And having the faith.
And having the faith. Well, belief, right?
Yeah.
That is
and
literally all that
anything.
in literally anything. Like it could be in yourself. And there's plenty of people who aren't necessarily spiritual that use, source energy all the time.
Yep.
Because of their belief.
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about this stuff. But I would like you to come to people like Audrey and myself.
Obviously. Because we're super cool.
Because we're super cool anyways. Yeah. But yeah. So where do we find you? Like your triple rooted wellness?
Yeah. On Facebook.
Okay.
Yep. So you can contact me on Facebook. I did start an Instagram, but I'm not very Instagram savvy quite yet.
Not just yet.
Not just yet. But yeah. So just search Triple Rooted Wellness.
Awesome. So I like to have the guest pull a card.
Yeah.
To tie things together. So, and this is from what is this deck?
Divine Abundance.
All right. So what is the card?
Energetic Clearing.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So during crisis, the Holy One herself may be emptying you of fear and attachments, preparing you to receive her luminous plan.
Oh, yeah. That resonates.
I like it.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Absolutely.
Starting your new thing.
Yes, starting new things and driving places.
Yeah.
And all the stuff.
Yeah.
All the things.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really good episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I like it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
again.
no, thank you. Thank you for being here, coming and everything. So, thanks everyone for joining us, and namaste.
Namaste.